Only One Stories. My name is Bonnie, and today I'm going to be talking about something a little different. Normally on this channel, so far I've been talking about true crime stories. While this story isn't true crime, I still think it is quite an interesting and disturbing, in a different way, a disturbing story. This is all about family vloggers and the problems with family vloggers. Specifically today, I'm going to be talking about somebody called Ruby Franke. And if you are somebody who is familiar with family vloggers, I'm sure you have heard all about 8 Passengers and Ruby Franke.
About the TikTok dances. And she said in the fall semester and in the spring semester, we need to have a performance. A flash mob is a great way to get it in. It's efficient. The kids love it. They have fun with it. And they are able to check off their performance for their grade. I said, my problem is the choice of songs.
However, I know that myself, I had no idea. I was blissfully unaware of this whole corner of YouTube until not too long ago, and since then I've gone down the rabbit hole, and I've been learning a lot, and I've been seeing a lot, and I've been figuring out why it's a problem, and it's something that needs to be addressed by YouTube and by the viewers. So specifically today we're going to be focusing on Ruby Franke, because despite what she claims as to having, stopped being part of this whole world of family vloggers, she is doing something equally as bad, in my opinion. So Ruby and Kevin Franke are the parents of this channel called 8 Passengers. And it's called 8 Passengers because there's 8 people in their family. So it's Kevin and Ruby, and then they've got 6 children. I'm not going to be showing their photos or probably even saying their names due to privacy issues. I think they've had enough of their private lives splashed all over the internet for the world to see. So I will tell their story, but in a different way, so that I don't contribute to that problem. First of all, they are a very litigious family in terms of cease and desist letters, trying to take down videos that reveal the truth about them. So we'll see. I don't think I am quite famous enough on YouTube yet for them to be concerned with, but we'll see. So I'll say everything in this video is allegedly, in my opinion. You know what I mean. So Ruby and Kevin are actually a family of vlogging families, because Ruby's siblings, I believe there's like 4 of them, they are all on YouTube with their own channels, and they are all family vloggers as well. But I think Ruby, in my opinion, is at the top of the list in terms of the most problematic. So they are Mormons. Nothing wrong with that. But I do think it does factor into their parenting style and their definitely their belief system. This family has been vlogging since 2015. And that is when they started filming pretty much every aspect of their lives, specifically focusing on their children. And while that might seem innocent and fun enough on the surface, when you really start to look even a little bit below the surface, it is disturbing. The number one thing is that 8 Passengers, along with many, many other similar vlogging channels, exploit their children for money. There are some really good YouTubers out there who I will maybe even link some of them below. Jay Aubrey and Sloan and a lot of other YouTubers did a good job of pointing out the problems with 8 Passengers. They have no problem posting things that could be considered embarrassing or traumatic, just inappropriate moments that you wouldn't want captured on camera or posted for everybody, including your peers, to see. Things like bra shopping with the teen girls, like in detail. And these are usually clickbaited in the title and in the thumbnails, inviting everybody, including gross old men, you know what I'm talking about, to come in and look at these videos of these teen girls buying their first bras, first shave, talking about, my daughter has been talking all summer about how she wants to shave her legs and her armpits for the first time and we're going to show the whole thing on camera. I can't imagine. I would die of embarrassment if that had happened to me as a child. And then also to have it archived and saved and viewed by whoever in the world wants to see it. They also have had lots of videos about their first periods and creating period kits. Now, I have absolutely no problem talking openly about periods with my children, or in appropriate situations. Of course, that's part of life. It's part of life as a mother, is to talk to your children about that sort of a thing. And I can see why that is a topic that might be interesting for young people to learn about. But to have that on camera, their own children's first periods, documented, why doesn't she just talk about her own experience then, if it's not embarrassing? Why doesn't Ruby just tell everybody about how she got her first period and what she did, and if she bled through her clothing? And it's oh my gosh, it's giving me like anxiety just thinking about that. So countless videos about puberty and about anything that would be clickbaity for people to see, but again, embarrassing. First crushes. One of their teenage boy, they read out his text message from his phone right there on camera. Something that he might consider private or even embarrassing to be read out for everybody to see. I mean, it's traumatic. Even these little things, it's traumatic. They also have a habit of taking away their children's food as punishment. Now, I'm not saying that they are always taking away their food and that they're neglectful parents who don't ever feed their children. That is not what I'm saying. However, it is an infamous thing that Ruby did one day when her daughter, who I believe was in kindergarten, she was like 5 years old at the time. This was a few years ago. Ruby got a phone call from her child's teacher saying that there was no lunch packed for the young girl. And Ruby said, well, that's her responsibility. She should have packed it. And because she forgot, her punishment is that she'll go hungry. I refuse to bring her a snack or her lunch, despite the fact that she could have driven it there. And she went on to say, not only am I not going to give her a lunch, she said, I really hope that nobody at this school feeds her because I want her to feel the pain of forgetting the lunch so that it'll remind her in the future to be more responsible and pack a lunch. Now, I can see her logic very vaguely if she was talking about somebody older, maybe a teenager who forgot their lunch and they've done this habitually and she's trying to show them tough love by doing this kind of a punishment. But a 5-year-old, I wouldn't trust my youngest to pack their own lunch, let alone punishing them in this way, making them feel hunger. I don't know. Punishing with food is really troublesome to me and other people. A lot of people have commented on that specific incidents a lot. But she's also on camera talking about how dinner is a privilege that she will take away if you don't listen. There's a one clip that I've seen going around of the two boys wrestling around, kind of tickling each other, whatever, being children. And she said, if you don't stop it right now, if you continue to do that, you will lose the privilege of dinner. Again, not appropriate. And it seems to me like she is very extreme with her parenting style, but not in a good way. Like, you can have strict rules, you can have this kind of a thing, but she punishes her children for being children. Her youngest, there's a clip of her youngest daughter who did something or other, probably something pretty minor in my opinion. And Ruby holds up the kid's favorite doll and she says, I'm going to cut the head off of your favorite toy if you do that again. Would you like that? And of course the girl starts sobbing because that's disturbing. But again, to Ruby, it's just tough love, and that's the way to raise your children. It's to be tough on them and to make them feel upset so that they'll learn better. I don't know. I wouldn't take advice from her, but she also does other things, like they have no problem filming things that I, again, would feel are inappropriate. They almost got into a car accident. The first thing that Ruby did was grab the camera and start filming filming the other people involved in this car accident, cars whizzing by on the highway, and all she's concerned is filming her face as she's running around acting extremely dramatic and saying to her children, turning around and saying to her children, that could have been us, we could have been dead, you know, really over the top. Like,
are they okay? Are they okay? Are you okay? I'm okay.
Filming hospital visits and when kids get injuries. Another thing that I've learned from other commentary channels recently is how disturbing it is to see who is watching these videos. So you can actually go and see the breakdown of the analytics, okay, of who is watching these kind of videos. And yes, there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of moms who watch. There's a lot of kids who watch these kind of family channels. But the amount of men who are older men who not only watch these, but they used to write down in the comments, I'm not sure if they still do this, but a lot of these men who are gross, okay, they will timestamp, they will write down the timestamp of things that they find the most, I don't want to say pleasurable, but you get my idea here. So for example, in the girls shaving, and not even that, things that you wouldn't even think would be something that these kind of people would be interested in seeing. Anything to do with the dentist, with their mouth open, they'll timestamp them in the comments so that other creeps can go in and find the exact points. I don't know if they do that anymore because they did remove comments, a lot of them, so you can't actually go in and see people's reactions. However, YouTube also has a feature now where you can kind of hover above the bottom of the screen there along the line, the bar, and you can see this sort of up and down roller coaster type thing. Sometimes it just remains pretty level and then there'll be a big peak in the gray. I think you know what I mean. But I think it's also a more recent feature that some people maybe haven't figured out yet or noticed. And what you can do is it's the most viewed part of the video. So you can hover your mouse along or whatever along the bottom there and see the most viewed times in a lot of videos. And unfortunately, if you do that in a lot of these vlogging channel videos, you can see the times where the creeps have replayed over and over and over again. And it's parts where you can accidentally see a kid walking with their diaper on, or kids in their bathing suits, or when they're talking about something probably like puberty, or when the girls are holding up the bras that they were going to go try on. You get the idea of what I'm talking about. It's really disturbing, and I think that a lot of these family vloggers know this, and they purposely put in that kind of content into their videos. Now that's pretty disturbing to think about. So I'm hoping that a lot of it is just ignorance and they're just turning a blind eye to that side of the internet, but it's a reality and it's so disturbing if they do know that. Especially these bigger vloggers who pay a lot of attention to their analytics. I think a lot of them know what they're doing. So another thing that Ruby did was she gathered up all of the kids' belongings that she saw strewn about. I think she went out to the family car and she got this big bag full of all of their stuff, their junk that they had left behind. And she said, "You are not getting this back." And the first thing was one of their kids said, "That's my homework. I can see it in there. I need to turn it in. That's a big part of my grade. You got my homework from the car. Give it back," kind of a thing. And she said, "No, you have to pay money to get it back so that you'll learn the value of $1. Or you can do chores to earn back the items." Now, I get it, okay? I've got 3 kids of my own. If you have told the kids to clean up their mess and they ignore you, and I can see people, I don't do this myself, but I know that other people, gather up the toys that are on the ground and say, clearly you don't value your belongings, you need to earn them back or something like that. But she takes it to the extreme. And when she makes you pay money for it, the money that the kids are earning for her, because of the kids are the content for the channel. And that's why they're getting the money. So the parents are getting the money. Do they give their kids money from that? Like an allowance that the kids are earning? I know that child actors on TV and movies, there are laws, the Coogan laws, that are set aside, that are, set there in place for the children, so that the kids can't have the parents just take all the money that they are earning. And there's other things that to sort of protect the children who are in these. There's nothing like that for family vlogging channels on YouTube yet. That's something that I think YouTube needs to really look at closely, is monetizing these videos with children in them. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. So she's just really extreme. Oh, but the big one is that her teenage son did something. She never really was very clear on exactly what he did wrong. But the older son, when he was 14 years old in 2019, they sent him away to a troubled teen wilderness therapy camp for 10 weeks of the summer, where they had to do one of these extreme outdoor living in the desert. I think they were in Arizona, and he had to endure this as punishment to rehabilitate him. There have been a lot of people coming out against these kind of teen wilderness therapy camps because they are pretty bad, allegedly. So I don't know. I just think that if I was 14 and sent away to one of these camps, I would come back pretty resentful. But he did come back, and it didn't really change his behavior very much, obviously, because he, a few months after that, had his bedroom taken away as punishment because he was pranking his little brother. He woke him up in the night and told him that they were going to Disneyland, and they weren't. And, he was being a big brother. He was being annoying. And instead of just having a normal punishment, she said, it's going to be extreme. So they moved into this new house, I think, and they gave the younger brother the larger room with the bathroom attached that was, I think, intended for the older brother. And instead of giving the older brother the smaller room, they just gave him no room and said, you have to just sleep out here in the family room area. And he slept on a beanbag or the floor for 7 months. Now, they didn't actually tell the world about this at first. I don't know why, if she's so proud of that parenting technique, but she was probably afraid of the backlash that actually did come. And then she later removed the video because people were upset with that sort of a thing for kids. They were so upset that there was an online petition started to get CPS, Child Protective Services, or DCFS, whatever you call it there, to go and visit the family because of what they had seen. It was, in a lot of viewers' opinions, it was not appropriate parenting. It was neglectful or abusive or something that they thought needed to be checked out by family services. And so it actually got to the point where CPS or DCFS did go and visit the family. And Ruby said that the visit was such a success that the workers actually came away with some parenting tips of their own. They were so impressed with how wonderful they were. Now, the problem with this kind of neglect or whatever you want to call it, trauma that she's doing, is that it doesn't outwardly look like some of the other cases that you might think of abusive parents. She's got a really beautiful home. They're clean. They give their children a lot of things. So it's hard on the outside for them to just look around and say, yeah, no, it looks good to me. Kids, are you okay? With their mom standing in front of them, glaring at them. Yeah, everything's good here. You know the story. It's very hard to say that they did something wrong if you don't really, If you go and look on the 8 Passengers YouTube channel now, you will notice that the family hasn't posted a new vlog for several months, which is a good thing. They maybe have learned their lesson of not to exploit their children, but they keep all of their videos up, so they're still making money from it, off of YouTube views and everything. Maybe it's because they have noticed that since their eldest has gone off to college, she has her own YouTube channel, and she has actually said, the older daughter has said that she is choosing not to vlog herself as much because it caused her a lot of stress and anxiety, and she likes the freedom of not having to live in that sort of lifestyle of vlogging all the time. So maybe because Ruby doesn't have as much control over her children because they're growing up, maybe because she has seen the error of her ways, that's why she's choosing not to vlog. Personally, I don't think that's the reason. I think because if she did think it was wrong and looked back and reflected and saw that there was a different way of parenting her other children who are still at home, then she would take down those videos that she still has up on her channel. So I don't think she's changed her ways. I think she's just moved on. So now she actually has switched over to her other channel called Connections with an X. So Ruby has partnered up with somebody called Jody, and Jody Hildebrandt is her new bestie. Maybe not new, they've probably known each other for a while, but the two of them now lead this big thing called Connections, where they teach lessons. They offer courses for people on parenting and relationships and mental health, which we'll come back to the mental health piece in a minute, because they've also said really problematic things about mental illness and mental health problems and how it's just a choice. As somebody who personally, I have been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, and I've struggled with different things. Personally, I have to take medication every day, as well as occasionally having therapy and other things to just to get through the day. I find it very problematic that they have talked about how anxiety and depression is really just a choice, and you can exercise your own agency to seek truth. And what does that even mean? I don't know. Anyways, so Ruby and Jody also have a Facebook group called Moms of Truth, where they talk about these principles that you have to live by. And it's all just a bunch of words without a lot of good advice. In fact, she's got some problematic advice. Jody Hildebrandt has her own background of some scandals, allegedly, that I have learned about recently. She is a licensed mental health counselor in Utah, but back in 2012, she had her license suspended for 18 months. Well, she was on probation for 18 months, and she was in danger of losing her license to practice because she decided to give personal, private information from her patients. She told that information to the LDS church officials, as well as the BYU people, and it caused a lot of personal upset for this patient that she did this to. Apparently the patient, in a lot of articles I read, they call him John Doe. And John Doe went to her for marriage counseling back in 2008. Jody quickly turned it into something where she claimed that he had a corn addiction, if you catch my drift. He had an addiction with watching corn, and he completely denies this, but she went and made the therapy all about that and was charging them upwards of $2,000 a month for this therapy. And when they kind of disagreed and backed off from the therapy, people say that she blackmailed the patient and ended up spreading all of this private information to, like I said, to these other agencies. I don't know. Even if all of that is not true, and I still think that Jody is problematic, especially if she's a mental health professional who is supporting all of these parenting tips from Ruby. So within this Facebook group, a lot of parents, or mothers, I guess, 'cause it's called Moms of Truth, they'll write in and have a question, and the two of them will give their response, their advice, right? So one of the things that they talked about recently was privacy for children and teens. Now, everybody has their own view on this, but personally, I think their advice was bad advice. As a mom of a child similar age to what they're talking about. So the mom wrote in and said that she had found a diary, a personal journal diary that had been hidden. I don't know if it was hidden under the bed or something like that, but it was purposely hidden from the mother. The mother found it and was writing in to say to the women, should I read this private diary or not? Now, in my opinion, if there is a reason to think that maybe there is a health reason or some kind of safety concern, maybe that would be an exception to why you might want to read the diary. But in general, I think it's really a bad idea to read your child's personal diary for so many reasons. Not like, first of all, you're going to lose trust. You're not going to have a good relationship or a bond that where they feel that they can trust you anymore if they find out. Second of all, like, why can't your children have privacy? The number one reason Ruby said that she should was because it was dishonest of this child to hide anything from her parents, because it showed that she was being dishonest and not living in the truth. The truth is that it's none of your business and your children do deserve privacy. I don't know. I don't get that. In fact, they actually took the door off of one of their kids' bathrooms because he didn't deserve privacy. I mean, that's really crossing the line. They also have some transphobic and homophobic advice or, things that they teach their viewers. There was one parent who wrote in and said, a family member came out as trans, and this mom said, should I allow my own kids to associate with this family member because they came out as trans? Obviously, the answer should be yes, you should associate them and show them love and compassion and acceptance. Like, that's obvious to me. However, unfortunately, their advice was pretty transphobic in my opinion, and they said you should keep them away, almost like it's contagious. And
responsible for yourself, for keeping truth around you and your child. And children, they don't have the discernment that you as a parent have. They don't have that. It is your job to teach them truth. And so if you allow other distortions, if you allow other influences to come, even if it's like, hey, it's just one day, or hey, it's just an hour here, it will infiltrate the entire person. Because here's the truth. These are principles. The truth is, I am a soul, I am a being, and my experiences will encompass my whole self. You know this.
Another person wrote in and their child had said, looking up on the internet or something, am I gay? And so they were questioning their sexuality, and this was very upsetting for Ruby and Jody, and they said that, just homophobic stuff that is gross. I think I forgot to mention something they did recently, which was this past Christmas, Ruby and Kevin decided to take Christmas away from their younger two children, who were ages 8 and 10, I believe, because they had been acting up. They were probably just acting like normal kids. They said that the best punishment for them would be to teach them a lesson by taking away Christmas. First of all, they said they tried keeping them home from school to scrub the floorboards, thinking that they would be in enough pain from that they would act better and behave better and be a better listener or more responsible or whatever it is that they did that was wrong. But that wasn't enough. So they said, we're just going to have Santa come and visit all the other 4 children, and the other 4 kids will get a regular Christmas, but these 2 will get the gift of truth. They will get the gift of being humble and the gift of their parents' love. Taking away something as special and as big for children as Christmas for something probably not that big, that's just another thing they're going to have to talk about in therapy when they get older, because that's pretty traumatic. That's something they won't forget, and I don't think it will have the outcome. She wants to do something really big to match and mirror how bad they are. So taking away Christmas is a big thing that they will remember, and therefore she's hoping that they will change that much and see how bad they have been. But I think the kids will just turn to try to either rebel or to just be, to hate their mother, or to just, think this is the way you're supposed to treat your children and that's how they will parent in the future. I don't know. I think it remains to be seen how this generation of vlogging children will turn out and how this whole lifestyle, I'll call it, will affect them moving forward. Some of the vlogging family children have now grown up and are teenagers. So when they start to have their own families, if they choose to, it'll be interesting to see how it affects them. In my opinion, I can foresee that the children will be traumatized in some kind of way. The lack of privacy, the lack of trust, the lack of unconditional love in some cases, every single moment of their lives, private or mundane, everything being filmed and posted on the internet for everybody to see forever. Even if they delete those videos, they're still there. This family, some of the kids even admitted that they don't have any friends, probably because of the vlogging. So how will they parent in the future? How will it affect them? Hopefully YouTube will put in place some more restrictions so that family vloggers won't get as much money from these types of videos. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Only One Stories. Let me know in the comments what your opinion is of vlogging channels, family vlogging channels specifically, or any other suggestions of true crime cases that you are interested in hearing about from me. Thank you. If you got to this point in the video, please give this video a like and subscribe so that you catch the next video as well. Oh, and if you are interested in learning more about my worry pets, that is another thing that I do. I have an online shop called Only One Knit Toys, and I make and sell these little knitted worry pets. Here's the panda and cactus, and I have over 30 different types, but there's a bee, and they come with a little poem, and these worry pets are really cute. So anyways, go and check that out. All the links will be posted below. I also am posting a lot on TikTok, a lot of stories, and so if you want to follow me there, the links are below. Thank you. See you next time.